to make it onto the beach, which is amazing. One, it's beautiful, but two, it's also not hurting my feet so much.
How you feeling, boss?
Tired.
Yeah.
Really knackered. Just gotta stick your head down and remember why you're walking.
Well, in some ways he's only just begun. We can speak to Chris before he heads off on today's leg of the journey. He's made it to Basingstoke so far. A very good morning to you. We'll talk about the feet in just a moment. But first of all, remind us why you're doing this. Your daughter has a rare genetic condition. Tell us why it's important to raise money for that.
So my little girl, Hasti, is only 8 years old. She has this really rare condition called CDLS. And when we got the diagnosis, I asked the doctor, I said, what can we do? What treatments are there? And they said, there's nothing, you know, you just gotta learn to live with this. And that never sat well with us. And we've set up a charity called Hope for Hasti, and we're hoping to raise £400,000 to fund the first ever gene therapy for CDLS to change Hasti's life and the life of other kids with CDLS.
How does CDLS impact her life at the moment?
Oh, in so many ways. When she was small, she spent a lot of time going in and out of hospital. It was a really frightening time for us as a family, particularly when I was deployed in Afghanistan. And it was touch and go. We weren't sure if she was going to make it sometimes. And the sad reality is that in the UK, 1 in 3 kids with a rare disease never reach their 5th birthday. And Hasti's condition gets worse from puberty, so we're in a race against time to save her life.
So it's clear why you're doing this, why there's that desire to raise money, and people might understand walking the length of the two nations, 700 miles, but why do it barefoot?
Yeah, I ask myself that every day, and I can assure you that every step is painful. But I think because Hasti just has a single gene mutation which makes her life really hard and leaves her really exposed to the world in ways that the rest of us don't have to consider. So I thought it was only fair that I do the same thing and that I expose myself to the world. And every time I want to stop and I think this is too painful to go on, I remember that I can jump in a taxi and go home, but Hasti can't get better. And if I stop, we're not going to raise the money we need.
Wow, that's amazing. That sort of heightens your empathy with her in a sense. And how are the feet? We were discussing earlier whether we should have a look at them, but we consider this time in the morning, people sitting down for the breakfast, possibly not ideal. How are they? How are the toes?
It's pretty painful. The UK roads aren't really a friendly place for the barefoot, but you know, it's incredibly hard, and there are points every day where I really want to stop, but every time I look in at our Just Giving page, Hope for Hasti, I see that people are continuing to donate, and I think people have been given hope by what we've been doing, and everybody's been so incredibly generous to try and help Hasti.
And you mentioned it in the video we saw earlier that you've been incredibly buoyed by people along the way who've begun to recognise you. How important is that to get that support?
Well, I think some people might assume that I have a support team and that there's a car maybe driving alongside or waiting for me, but it's just me. I'm sort of running this off my mobile phone, and my wife's supporting from home while she looks after our 3 kids. So people have brought me food, they've brought me drinks, they come and talk to me when I've been sat in a ditch feeling down in the mouth about things. They've really pulled me along. People have just been incredibly generous, and I've been really moved by how kind they've been.
It makes such a difference, doesn't it? Especially when so many families are going through their own struggles at the moment. And so you started in Land's End. You need to get all the way to Edinburgh. How far have you got to go? You're in Basingstoke now. Percentage-wise, you've nowhere near broken the back of it, have you?
No. So I think the whole journey is about 700 miles. I've done just over 250, so I've still got another 450 miles to go.
The best of luck, and maybe we'll have a look at your feet when it comes to an end if we're feeling brave enough. Very quickly, how can people donate or help you out along the way if they wish to?
Well, if people can just Google Hope for Hasti, which is spelled H-A-S-T-I, they'll find our Just Giving page and they can make a donation on there for us and also follow our story.
Thank you so much, Chris, and we wish you all the best with the remaining journey. Just amazing. And that is all from us on Breakfast today. Dan and Louise will be back.